Next up on WTV, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, this week's edition of Mystery Movie, and Real Talk. WTV's Daily Update starts now. Hey there, Red Hawk Nation. Today is Friday, January 15th, and I'm Kirthi Gummadi with today's Daily Update brought to you by Wingspan TV. Martin Luther King Jr. Day will be giving students the day off on Monday, but the day means much more than just missing school. WTV's Cooper Regal explains the history of the holiday.
Martin Luther King Jr. Day will give us an extra day off this weekend, but the history behind this 34-year-old holiday isn't as well known as the man himself. The movement to have a day honoring the face of the civil rights movement started 4 days after King's assassination on April 4th, 1968. But despite these efforts, no significant strides were made until a decade later. Representative John Conyers from Michigan introduced legislation for a national holiday in 1968, but did not get enough votes. The movement to incorporate a holiday for Martin Luther King gained more traction in the 70s and was made a holiday by several states including Illinois, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, but no real progress was made on the national level. President Jimmy Carter called on Congress to vote on the bill to create the holiday in 1979, but the bill was defeated in December of the same year. Despite years of setbacks, MLK's widow continued to fight for the holiday and finally succeeded on November 3, 1983. President Ronald Reagan signed a bill making the third Monday of every January Martin Luther King Day, and the holiday was set to go in effect in 1986. This January 18th marks the 36th anniversary of the holiday, and the 15th would have been the 92nd birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. himself. Reporting for WTV, I'm Cooper Regal.
It's been nearly 60 years since Martin Luther King delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech in Washington, D.C. For most people, this speech has only been seen on video clips. However, for one person on campus, it was seen firsthand. WTV's Trinity Williams has the story.
The year was 1963, and the civil rights leader was delivering his I Have a Dream in front of the Lincoln Memorial to an estimated 250,000 people, including the secretary to the assistant principals, Marilyn Bryant. As a young girl, Bryant made the trip to D.C. with her family to see King deliver his speech during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom.
My family's always been involved in civil rights because they were born and raised in the South. And my great-grandmother was a free slave. So when we arrived in New York, things were different, more freedom and stuff. But when Martin Luther King came aboard, it was really exciting. So my aunt and uncle decided to take a trip to Washington, D.C. and took myself and my sister and some other cousins, and it was one of the most exciting times that I could recall. It's been quite some time. It was overwhelming, but beautiful, very peaceful and calming, and felt like we were just one unit instead of many people. And when I got older, I realized how important that day was and how it's affected me going forward, making sure people are treated equal, not because of race or color or creed.
Assassinated in 1968, Bryant says things would be different if King's life wasn't cut short at the age of 39.
I think it would be in a better place in reference to being as a unity and respecting all people for no matter what race they are, what ethnic group they come from, or what background. But there's such a division right now, and there's so much hurtful things going on in the world today. We really need someone like MLK again to bring us all together as one unit.
However, the message delivered by King in 1963 has led Bryant to live her life open-minded to all groups of people, no matter what.
Well, it made me realize that it didn't make a difference what color skin or what nationality anyone was, that I should treat them equally fair. I don't look at color. I look at the person. I don't hate a group of people. That's so wrong. I may not like you because of how you treat me, but I would not say I'm going to be prejudiced towards a group of people. That's wrong on every level. And that's how I raise my kids. Treat each other as the way you wanted to be treated.
Seeing the speech in person is something that brought Bryant hope.
Well, before we left, it was very quiet. It was like we were at a church or a synagogue, and the words were just like melding into our bodies and soul. and you just felt that he was speaking to you as an individual and not as a group, and I think everybody takes something away differently. I took away that there was hope, that dreams can become true. Now here's a common man, who had a purpose in life, and he shared it. So I know that there's hope, and I know there's faith, and I know that we can get together as one and have a decision to make something that's positive for the world, and not try to think of I, and let's think about we as a team.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Reporting for WTV, I'm Trinity Williams.
On this week's edition of Real Talk, WTV's Madigan Gunya asks students about Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Hey Redhawks, it's WTV's Madigan Gunya with this week's edition of Real Talk. This week we're going to be asking students about Martin Luther King Jr. What impact has MLK had on you?
I can now have friends of like different color.
The impact MLK had on me was that he's like truly an example of perseverance, and no matter what happened, he always continued to fight for civil rights, and he died behind the message he believed.
Do you think his message is still relevant today?
Yes-ish, because I feel like since he's had that message, there's been like a humongous change in the way that we treat like minorities and everything, but I feel like we can still work to make it better.
We're still fighting for equality today, and there are still so many changes and so many strides we can make towards equality. And those efforts can be made in areas such as police reform.
Do you think MLK's message would still be the same today?
To an extent, yes, but at the same time, no, because back then it was a time when like they couldn't even be friends, but now, I mean, I have a lot of friends, and I feel like it would change, not substantially, but yes, I feel like it would change a little bit, but I feel like it would be around the same.
I think MLK would say in today's society that he would be much more pleased with the amount of support that movements such as Black Lives Matter have gotten, and he would just see a lot more activism and a lot more allies that may not be Black for the movement.
Is there still a fight for equal civil rights today?
Yes, there's still a fight, but not near as bad.
And I still think there is a fight for civil rights today.
Reporting for WTV, I'm Madigan Gunya.
Not only is this weekend a 3-day weekend, with Monday being a day off to honor Martin Luther King Jr., but Sunday is World Religion Day. WTV's Evan Benavides has the details.
World Religion Day is a day to highlight and celebrate religions all around the world.
I am a Christian, and being a Christian to me just means that you, live life according to how the Bible tells us to, and two, that you just try to be a good person and show everyone the same kindness and compassion that you'd want given back to you. And the way that I practice this is by doing just that, is by showing everybody the same kindness and compassion that I'd want given back to me, and by just putting my faith in God, no matter what the circumstance may be.
I am Jewish. Religion means having faith in God when everything seems wrong. I practice Judaism by praying often with my family, and then we go to the synagogue every once in a while to have a formal prayer.
Although it's not a holiday, some people may celebrate World Religion Day by learning about someone else's religion or attending a religious gathering with a friend. Reporting for WTV, I am Evan Benavides.
Wingspan's Andrew Howergy brings you this week's installment of Mystery Movie.
Hey there, Redhawks. Welcome back to Mystery Movie. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Howergy. Last week's winners were Sky Hart and Grant Johnson. Additionally, the first teachers to respond with the correct answer were coaches Shumo and Manning. Now, get your phones out and ready for this week's hint. In this family film, a paranoid widower tracks down his kidnapped son with the help from others he meets on his journey. If you think you know the answer, scan the QR code or go to the link below to access the Google form. If you missed the hint, it's provided again on the Google form. Good luck. That's it for Mystery Movie. I've been your host, Andrew Howdigi.
If you are looking for more from Wingspan, you can follow us at Liberty Wingspan on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our award-winning website, libertywingspan.com. And now for today's announcements. Applications for student council are now open. Applications are due on the 22nd, and you can sign up by scanning the QR code below. FCCLA is collecting peanut butter and jelly donations for Frisco Love Packs from January 11th to 27th. Donations of peanut butter, jelly, and other allergy-friendly alternatives can be left in E104, E105, or the box in the rotunda. That's it for today's Daily Update. This is Kirthi Gummadi for Wingspan TV.